I took a stroll into town yesterday, not for any particular reason other than that it was nice to get away from the screens, from making videos, from talking to people over Zoom for interviews and things like that, from working around and reading emails and all of that. I just needed to get outside, and it was a reasonable day yesterday. And I thought, I will go into town, not with any particular mission. I did pop into a few charity shops to see if they had any more jackets, but alas, I couldn't find anything that either fitted me or shouted to me, wear me, you must have me. And so I just meandered about a little bit, going down to the seafront where I live to see the sea and to walk on the pier. And one of the things that I often do is I look up. It's great to look above the commercial hoardings of the shops, the ugly, flashy, bland, commercial hoardings that are sort of there, come in, buy me, all that sort of stuff, and look up at the older buildings behind, and you see that when you look above those hoardings, and you see the beautiful Georgian windows, perhaps the various different types of rooftops, the chimneys, all those sort of things which make buildings beautiful and lovely, as opposed to those new builds that they're bunging up in every farmer's field that you can see, those mean buildings that have been designed by CAD computers, these with their mean windows and their drab doorways and their tiny little gardens and nowhere to park and nowhere for children to run around and thrive, nowhere for you to grow vegetables and enjoy yourself. These sort of in-fenced little camps, if you like, concentrating people in one area, and which on farmland, which in my humble opinion should never be permitted to be grown on, because you are preventing future farmers from growing crops or having cattle or any other livestock there. So I was wandering around looking at that, and then of course it was market day. I discovered market day where I live, thronging masses of people out peering at all the produce that's either hanging from hooks on the metallic market stands, or indeed filling up, the abundance of products filling up, whether that be fish or bread or fruit and veg or baskets and all those sort of wonderful things. Great to see people out there spending money, spending cash a lot of the time, handing over notes and enjoying themselves, which was lovely. But then I had a sort of uneasy feeling as I was watching these people. I was aware of all these people, of course, had all at one time lined up, had they not? They'd lined up only a year or so ago for a medical intervention, and things were happening to them, and they may not have realised at the time that the syringe of hope was supposed to be this marvel thing that was better than their own immunity, their own human immunity that would be saving them, that man and woman had had for millions of years, well, not millions of years, of course, but hundreds of thousands of years, that immunity system had protected us from so many things. And yet, for some reason, we gave hope to a synthetic, made-up thing in the flash of a moment, experimental drug in a syringe, and jabbed into us that was going to combat a pretty nonsense little problem that was floating about everywhere. And as I looked at these people who were jamming in and pushing and shoving and looking for bargains, I was looking at them and I was thinking to myself, look at them, look at these people, these thronging mass of people who do not know what is going on inside them. But never mind that side of things for the moment. I also had a look at them, their shape. They looked old and haggard. They looked pale and pasty. The young as well as the old, in numbers. They looked ill. They looked poisoned. And I realised that what's been going on to this human race, these people in the street, these people who've come out of their homes, is that we have been dulled down. We have been stupefied. There have been powers that have, through television, have been programming us in this convenient, easy way, going and persuading us, using adverts, talking to us as if we were 12-year-olds, telling us to go and buy certain things, certain foods, for example, full of highly processed chemicals and things like that we've been eating, thinking that they were nourishing, promising us full of sunshine, full of health-giving properties. when really full of actual poisons, things to lower our vibrations, to keep us ill and to keep us down, so that other people, such as chemical people, such as pharmaceutical people, can sell us little white pills in bottles and keep us, our vibrations down, and keep us ill and pasty and not very healthy. And I looked at these people and I saw their faces, in fact, not so much laughing and singing and dancing and full of life, but actually quite haggard and old with lines and things. And I thought to myself, what is going on? What has happened to the society that I live in and the people around, where somehow they seem to be drab, dressing in dark, miserable clothes ill-fitting, slack, and jumpers that are seen better days, no pride, no sense, no joy, no spring in their step. And I thought to myself, it's not them, it's not their fault. But we've all been poisoned. We've all been manipulated. We've watched the television, that evil box in the corner with its programming, the programs that have been dulling us down and keeping us simple, not inspiring us to do things, but keeping us stupefied and keeping us as idiots, as lunatics, as simple people. And we've gone there without critical thinking and common sense and just obeyed the hypnotic messages that have been coming through the programs and the advertisements. And then I realized it's not only, of course, the television that's been doing that. It is the social media, the endorphin hits of a like, for example, when we post something, posting ridiculous and inane things like our dinner or something about us. And of course, somewhere on the other side, in the dark veil, the evil matters of evil people have been capturing our biometrics, have been capturing information, our data, looking at us when we post pictures of our children at the first day of school on the social media platforms, and they're going, we know who they are, we know this information, we've freely given all this information on the social media. And then there's the media platforms that show videos, and of course we think that television is the evil thing, which we pay a license, ridiculous as it sounds, we pay a license to be programmed, to be hypnotized. And then of course we think, no, that's too rubbish. We'll go on to and we'll have our phones with these video platforms, and we're looking at them and we're being enticed by them, thinking that of course the videos that you see on these video platforms must be more healthy, must be more truthful, must be more honest. And maybe some are. Maybe there are some individuals who are producing stuff which is actually wholesome and good. But maybe many of these things that we think that we're watching are also being manipulated and programming and bringing fear, bringing terror to us, keeping us down, keeping our vibrations down, telling us about the bad things that are happening in the world, but not telling us the solutions, not telling us to throw these phones away, throw the televisions away, and think for ourselves, to read inspiring books, to take a step into the countryside, to breathe fresh air if you can find it, to filter and clean up our water, to have pride in ourselves, to speak with positive motions in our voices and ideas and ideals, to realize that we are the masters of our own selves, that we are the executors of our trusts, that we are not down, that these rules, these acts and statutes are there to keep us down, to entrap us, the legal system to try and extract money from us, the corporations, the people, these assemblies that are pretending to be public servants, which actually are not at all, but corporations, private businesses, the private bar guild that has these members that are pretending by taking a public oath when really they have a superior private oath that they take that is there to extract money, to extract your energy out of you. We need to not be so impressed by all of these things, and we need to think for ourselves, to find the positive in life, to know that we can push back against all this nonsense that's been driven at us constantly through these little dynamic screens that have been putting messages into our head about how useless we are and how we need this trinket and that trinket, and of course we don't. We need the most simplest of things, clean water, fresh air, the love of each other, and humanity. And I walked around looking at these people thinking, yes, we have been poisoned, have we not? Physically with medical interventions, through the food, through the water, through the air, and through the screens that are trying to manipulate us and keep us down. But we will not keep that. We will not adhere to any of that nonsense, for we will rise up, a great rising of people pushing back and saying, no, none of that. We are awakening to the nonsense that's been happening, how money has been made out of thin air in the banks, how the acts and statutes have just been a Roman law to keep us down and to extract money from us. No, we're having none of this. We are pushing back and looking at the governments, these people who are lying to us, the parliaments where they talk lies to us. We're realizing, are we not, that this is all a nonsense. It's all theatre. It doesn't matter. We do not have to adhere to any of it, for we are the masters of our own creation, and we will go forward positively and push back against these evil creatures, these people that wish to control us, and say, no, we no longer comply. I no longer give you my consent. You try to steal my sovereignty, but you cannot. I will not comply. For I am a living man or a living woman, and I will not have any of this, of my energy and my life force taken away from me. We are rising up, and we are positive creatures and going forward into a positive new future.